All right then. You are welcome to this wireframe design session with me, Dexter. Yes. So basically, I'm going to be running you through how to create wireframes in Figma. Now, wireframes are like the skeleton of the main design itself. You may have heard that design is the skeleton of the code or the running application or software. So, in my own opinion, I feel wireframes are like the skeleton of the main design, not the final design, but what it should be like, what where things should go, and how they should be placed in a design when just starting out your design. So by now you should have something like this on your screen. So just go ahead and install Figma. When you sign in, you should have something like this. It may not be as much as what I have here, but it's all good. So right at the top left corner, close to the home button, click the plus icon. Click the plus icon. I don't know why this thing is not today. Alright. So good. Click the plus icon, this should come up, and click on design file. So and just give it a minute and everything should load up. Unlike my system that takes time. So if you're like me, I like to title everything I'm working on while in Figma. So wireframe design practice. Alright, so after renaming that, or depends on you if you don't want to rename it, click on this place that says page 1. So and then I like to separate, whenever I'm designing, I like to separate it into mobile and desktop. So page 1 here will be for mobile. And okay, just a few shortcuts for Figma. You want to create a new artboard, hit F while on the canvas, and depending on the artboard you want. So this is page 1. Page 1 will be our mobile view. So click on click F. This list should pop up for frames. And then you click on iPhone 13 375 times 812, and you'd have this. So and then when you go to page 2, you do the same thing, F, but this time around you're going for desktop, and this, then you click this. So for mobile view, now the thing about mobile view is there are what they call the name. There are design systems and rules that guide how to design in Figma, and not just in Figma but any design tool across the world. There are rules and regulations that guide design, things like material design, and human interface guidelines. That's for Apple. Material design is for Google. Microsoft too has their own. So for this, let's just say for instance we want to create a mobile app. Let's for instance create a ride share app. So the things you begin to look out for is, okay, where do I put certain things? And let's say we want to do the home screen, for instance. Or let's just say login. So let me rename this and 01A and call this login. So this is just basically wireframes. So, but for me, I like to skip the wireframe aspect and just jump head on into the design. So let's just start with the wireframes. So login. When you hear the word login, what comes to mind? You've used mobile apps before. So on seeing when you want to create a login screen for an application, you start piecing things together, and you're like, okay, what should be placed where? How should this be? So for me, I just go heading, and now now this is what I want you to do. Hit R. That's for the rectangle tool. This arrow, this four-cornered arrow, this cardinal point should appear, and you just click here, and you just click here, align it to the center. So I would like to call this, and then clicking T, if you tap T on your keyboard, that will bring out the text. So I'll just call this logo. For instance, let me just increase this font to 24, align it, sorry, Control Z, align it upwards like this. Good. So of course, when you open an app for the first time and you want to log in, you would have the logo and at the top, depending on the app and depending on the mood of the designer. So, but most times you would have the logo at the top. So this is just basically Wireframing. This is not the full final design. And then the next thing that comes into mind is you now begin to ask yourself, okay, what message do I want to tell the user? What do I want to tell the user to do next? And that's where the whole rule of user friendliness and user intuition comes into play. But before I go on, if you've not gotten to this point where I am right now, let me know. Mohammed, are you able to log in? Okay, no problem.
How do you get the box?
This ash color box, just hit R. Yes, that's the rectangle tool. That's the rectangle tool. Now, when you hit R, just click like this. Boom, that's the box. Automatically, when you hit R that way and you click, the dimensions for the box that appears is 100 by 100 automatically. So that's just basically. So let me just give it some seconds while you people catch up. So who is up to speed?
How do you activate?
You hit, if you want to add a text, you use keyboard shortcut, hit T. And if you notice, I just hit T. Hold on, let me go back to select, and then I hit T, and it's text, yes. This T box gets highlighted with blue. So just click anywhere on the canvas, and you have your blinking cursor. And you could just type your text, and that's it. And you can place it where you want to, depending on.
Can you increase the size?
Yes, you can increase the size. If you do this now, look at my screen a bit. Looking at this Dexter here, I can increase it to 36. I can change the font to Poppins. Depends on my mood. I can change the font weight from regular, medium, semi-bold, like that. There's also a whole lot of things, but this is just like an intro video. So hopefully subsequently we'll be able to attend to other functions and features of Figma. So once everybody is up to speed, let me know. So while you're setting that up, one thing about Figma, the only what I think is that the only downside of Figma is that it has to be used online. You have to be connected to the internet, but it's a very, very interesting tool to use, very collaborative. While I'm catching up to speed, I could just share. Let's say I'm working with someone on this. I could just hit share this share button up here, and then invite the person by putting the person's email here, and I could select whether I want the person to view. So I could just put a random email, for instance, just say mujib@gmail.com. mujib@gmail.com, and I could determine whether I could want the person to be able to edit or just view, and then I could select whichever one, and that's me, the person who created this. I could just send the invite to the person. So just what I should let you know about that. So everybody up to speed? Awesome. So now we have the logo. Now the next thing you are thinking of is, okay, what do I want the user to do next? So most times in wireframe, I like to include the text too. So I could just go something like this: hit T key on your keyboard, and I could have an instruction to the user: sign in with your company ID. So let me reduce this to 18. Sign in with your company ID. Sign in with your company ID. Now, bear in mind, just ahead, we won't make it colored yet as of now. We'll make it colored. It'll just be gray, black, and white. So you could just type the sign in with your company, and basically you're telling the user what you want the user to do. Sign in with your company ID or work ID, or depending on, or even school ID if you are designing an app for a school or a college platform. So, and then next thing is, now hit R to create your rectangle tool and do this. So you can actually change the width and height of this. So let me just call this 280 by 56. Yes, 280 by 56, or let me say 290. Align it to the center and like that. So I would have loved to make the border radius round, but since this is like an intro session, we'll get to that some other day. So and this, so let's just align this. So now basically we have the logo up here. So just think in your mind that that's a full-blown logo, colored, a proper company logo up there, but at the same time keeping in mind that this is just a wireframe session. So now this box is here, this rectangle box is here just below sign in with your company ID text. Now click on this box, hold Control and hold on, Alt. On clicking Alt and holding Alt, you should see that like as though your cursor duplicates, like as though it's 2. So basically you're duplicating that box into 2. Good. So usually, how does a user log in? Email and password, anywhere, or it could be username and password. So it depends on you. So right here, I will now come and do something like this: text, and I'll say email or username, so, and then align it to the center. And now remember what I just told you about how to duplicate the box, holding Alt. So click this text, hold Alt over the text, and you should be able to duplicate the text. Don't worry if the text is at the background, is behind the box. I'll tell you what to do. So now the text is still selected. So just right click and bring to front, or you could use the keyboard shortcut, the square bracket, and it comes forward. So you could now double click this to change it from email to /username to password. So basically this is like this telling you, okay, this now so far that we've reached this point, you're not beginning to get the idea that okay, this is going to be a login page based on the things you have seen. So when you have this, so basically now you have the logo, you have this text that says sign in with your company ID, like a call to action telling the user sign in with your company ID, school ID, whatever ID. And then here's this is a text box for the username or email or username, and this is a text box for password, just as you will have a full-blown mobile app. So before I continue, who is up to speed? Are we on track? Once you've added the text, let me know. So remember, to put text here, you just hit T, you hit T on your keyboard, this, and then here on hitting T, this should be selected. This should be highlighted in blue, and then you'll be able to type anywhere on your canvas. You should type anywhere on your canvas. So let me right. So everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Awesome. So the next thing you are thinking of is, okay, how does the user log into the app? So then the next thing you think of is, okay, basically create a button, sign in, just as you said, sign in. So the same method, you could hit R and create a rectangle like this, or yeah, you hit and create a rectangle, or you could just simply duplicate this by holding Alt. But let's just go with this. You hit R and you created the rectangle. So for this button, let me reduce this and let's just say 56 by, okay, let me call this 56 too. Then for the width, I'm going to adjust this to 120. So now it's beginning to look like a button. And then what text comes in here? Sign in, just as you said. So hit T and type in sign in. So of course adjust it and let it align with the box. So for this button, we're going to increase the width of the rectangle to 140. Or maybe 130. Awesome. And then align it with the box. So let me show you something quick here. Let's say you want to move both. Now you've aligned signing. Let me zoom in a bit so that you see what I'm doing. So basically you've aligned signing. Don't worry if both of them are not equal. I like adjusting things when I'm in Figma. I honestly don't know why. Let me make it 20. I'll leave it at 27. So this is basically aligned. Now looking at my screen, if you want to do this, let's do this again. Click on the sign in text. While you've clicked on the sign in text, hover your mouse over the rectangle and then press Alt. Now this is showing this way because that way it gives you the dimensions. It gives you the number of pixels between the sign in button on either side, go up, down, left and right. So left and right is equal 33. Up and down, up is 14, down is 15. So this basically, click the text, hover over this rectangle and hold Alt. That's alternate. And hold Alt on your keyboard, be it your Mac or Windows. You should still be able to do this. And then hold Alt and you should be able to see this kind of thing. So remember, this is not the full design. We're just doing the wireframe. So sign in. Now, you'd want, this is for instance, you'd want to move, now you've aligned this sign-in text with the box, and you won't want to go through the stress of having to realign it again. Basically, what you could just simply do is, you've clicked on sign-in text, hold shift, and click on the box. That way you are selecting the two of them. So you can easily move them around. You can easily move the two of them around at the same time. Hold shift. See, let's go again. Select sign in. Hover over the rectangle. Hold shift and then click on the rectangle. Bear in mind you've already clicked on the sign in text and now you've clicked on the rectangle. So you have to be holding shift before you click on the rectangle. That way you select the two of them. Or you could just even do this, click outside, click on the artboard, and you could just run your mouse like this to select it. Select the two of them at once. So either way you still get to select the two of them. So on doing this, you can easily move it around the way you want. So the next thing after this will be to allow for a space here. So let me move this up a bit, and it should be perfect. Let me see how many. What's the distance? 60 something. It's okay now. This is 70. So of course you would want the user to be able to save his or her password. So basically you could even create, let's say, text here. Remember me. You might have we all use apps, and you might have come across where you're trying to log in and you see this option to remember that. It says store your password in case of next time. So for this one, you can't keep, now this is the thing, you cannot keep this text here the same size with this or this. This has to be reduced. So let me reduce this to 12 and see what it looks like. Oh, perfect. This is 12. So let's create like a box just to give you that app feel. So okay, all right, now good. So material design icons. Now this just popped up, material design icons. There are plugins in Figma that aid your workflow. They aid you to be able to move fast and work faster while in Figma. So the way I've gotten to get to this point easily, just hit Control. Don't click on anything on your artboard. Hit Control and hit /, and you can search for commands, files, and all that. And then you could just search for material design icons. Let me give you a quick run through on how to install plugins. All right, so everybody click on the home button. Now remember we are on this tab, wireframe design practice, right? So click on home button. Next to it, you should come back to where we were when we started initially. And then if you've created an account with your email address, so come here to community. When you come here to community, click on plugins. So this way you can search for plugins and all that. So for me, I already have a couple of plugins. So what I want you to do is this search bar right here. Has everybody gotten to this point? Okay. 2 minutes. Remember we are wireframe practice, right? Yes. So this home button to the left of it. When you get to the home button, you should see something. You should see this home page.
On the web.
No, just hold on. See, you see this? Is everybody up to speed?
Yeah. Yes.
Good. So when you click on this home button, now you created an account. So my own up here is saying Dexter because this is my own account. So click on this. click on this and then hover and come to community. Yes, click. You should see maybe your own could be Isaiah, it could be Mujib, it could be Daniel, it could be anything. So click on this, and then click on community. On clicking on community, it will load up this page for you. And then from there, go to plugins. So don't worry about me, I already have a couple of plugins installed. But for you, go to this search bar and then search for material design icon and hit enter. Material design icon and hit enter. You should have something similar to this, even though you're yet to install material design. That's something similar to this. So the first result you should see is this material design icon by icons 8. So my own is rightly saying installed because I already have it installed on my system, but yours is not installed. So on this button, you should see the install button here.
Yes.
Click it to install.
Yes, tell me how the system works.
You are using Figma online, so it won't. It's not going to install it on the system. It's not like Adobe XD that uses system resources to. By now, it should have turned the bot. You should have installed this by now, right?
Yes.
Good. So now, back to our design. Back to our wireframe, our design practice. Now we want to put, just as you've used that, just as I said earlier, you've used apps before, and you see the option to remember, basically saying store your password in case of next time you're trying to log in. So basically, now at this point, this is what where everybody back here to the design file. Good. So the next keyboard shortcut you're going to do is Control/. On hitting Control/, you should see this search box, search menu, commands and plugins should come up. So now you've just, that plugin you just installed, material design icons, that's your first plugin in Figma. Very important and very highly useful plugin, basically. So because it's the only plugin you've installed, so just type in material, and you should have material design icons. So click on it, and then the plugin should load up on the left hand side. So is everybody up to speed?
Yeah.
Everybody? Good. So here you could do check. Search for check. Put in the word check, CHECK, and hit enter. Now, of course, you suggest both free icons and paid icons. So most of these ones down are actually paid icons. Yes, most of these ones are actually paid icons, but the icon we're making use of is this empty box right here. Is this empty box right here?
One is not searching for the check.
This search bar right here.
You must type
Search check and hit enter. You should see this empty box. The name of the box says checkbox outline blank. This box right here.
Yeah, the outline is down.
Yes. So click it, and then it comes to, and then you come to your artboard, to what the design you're currently working on. So let me move this. Let me close this. All right. I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm not sure why this thing is. All right. So let's do this again. Should in case for those who are yet to get the box, So CHACK, enter. So I send in the search box. Now, if you notice something, you'll be seeing this. You should still be seeing the name of the icon, even though you are currently on your artboard, on your design. The easy trick to do here is take it outside to the canvas, right? And then bring it back. And now it has disappeared. Now, this box is now part of your design. You get? Take it outside the artboard, leave it, and just release your mouse, then bring it back into your artboard. This is called an artboard. An artboard. Yes, an artboard or a frame. Depends on. Most designers call it artboard. So this is your artboard. So now let's edit this text. So obviously, this icon. So obviously you cannot have an icon size this big for remember me. Good. So basically let us put 24 by 24. And then I zoom in. So let me close this so that good.
What's the shortcut for zoom?
Hey, yeah, okay. Forgot that. Zoom in. You need a mouse that has a wheel like this. So you hold Control and then you scroll. If you scroll up, if you move the wheel up, you are scrolling into your design. If you move the wheel down, you are scrolling out. Basically, you're just increasing the magnification and your view. So that says 8 on 9. Okay, this is 10. So just give it. So now, remember what I told you. Now by now you should have resized this checkbox to 24 by 24, right? Good. Move this checkbox to under password so that it aligns. Can you see that red line that on the left hand side that aligns with the box and password field as well as email field?
Yes.
Move it there. Good. Now you've clicked on this box is selected. Hover over this rectangle for password and hold Alt. You see this number. That number is basically an indication of the space in between the box, that checkbox, and the password field. So for this design, let's just make it 20. 20 from where?
From the lower part where the shape.
Look, you've selected this box. It's 24 by 24. You've selected it. Now, hover over this with your mouse. Do not click. Just hover over it with your mouse. And then hold Alt. Alternate.
Okay.
Now you can see the number. That number, that 20, is saying that, okay, there are 20 pixels, basically like 20 centimeters, but in terms of design, 20 pixels between this box, that checkbox you put there, and password field. So from there, you can, now you see this remember me text. That remember me text we put there initially. Align it properly with the box. So now if you now zoom out, it's now beginning to look like the login screen of an actual mobile app. You get? Does everybody get me? Good. Now, so let's bring this. Okay, now for this sign in button. All right. Remember what I told you. You could either draw your mouse over it to select the two of them, or you could click on sign in, hold shift, click on the box. Either ways. So now let's just draw our mouse over it. That way we're selecting the two of them. Now we're going to group such that wherever we move, we're moving the two of them at once. So to group it, Control G is what you will do. And now you've grouped it. Now if you come to the left panel, you should see group 1, and it says sign in and then rectangle 4. Rectangle 4 is basically this gray background for the button. Everybody up to speed? No, just before we get to the checkbox, this. Let me ungroup this. Control Shift G. You draw your mouse over it to select the two of them at once, and then you hit Control G to group. When you now group 1 appears on the left panel, and if you click on the arrow, you will see sign in and then rectangle 4. Rectangle 4 is basically telling you that rectangle 4 is basically this gray background behind this sign in text. So now we've grouped it, so let's move it down to give it space between remember me and between it and remember me. So let's align this, and now remember the same thing I just told you about grouping it. So let's draw our mouse over the checkbox and remember me. Draw your mouse over checkbox and remember me, and then hit Control G, and now you have group 2. Everybody up to speed? Okay, let me show you something. Let's go back to this sign in, right? To ungroup, Control Shift G, and you would ungroup. Control Shift G and you would ungroup. This session is taking 37 minutes and I'm here to go anywhere. Okay. So to ungroup, Control Shift G. To group, you would draw your mouse over what you want to group, and then to group you now do Control G. You get? So now that we have it this way, this is signing. So let me now if you notice, we've grouped them together, so we can easily move them around instead of before they were grouped. That way I was telling you that you should hold Shift and select both the sign-in text and the rectangle. So now we can easily move it around. So align it to the center of the artboard. And now the next thing you're thinking of is, okay, what should come next? The user should be able to, there should be an option for the user to select forgot password. So be able to reset password or open a new account. So you could just easily come down here and then hit T on your keyboard. Hit T on your keyboard. Hit T on your keyboard, and you would do something like this: forgot password. So for this one, let's reduce the font size to 14. Use the font size to 14. Ensure, now go back to your remember me and ensure it lines up like this. Can you see this line? Can we all see the red line?
Yes.
That aligns with the email field, the password field, and forgot password text. Ensure it aligns. And also do not forget that there should be spacing, there should be 20 pixels between remember me and the password field. Remember me and the password field. So now we have password, forgot password right here at 14 pixels, the font size. So forgot password, just the way you'd have it in all these apps we use these days. like this. So the next thing you would want to do is this. Now, can just everybody, are you okay? You up to speed? Is everybody up to speed? Good. Now, can you see what I just did? Let me do this again. Click on forgot password. Everybody up to speed, right?
Yes.
Good. Click on forgot password. Hold down alternate on your keyboard. And then click and draw this out. Now you can see how both sides, both text on either side are aligned to each other. They are aligned to each other, and the end of the second text is aligned to the end of the email and password field.
You're not doing it.
Okay. So upon doing what I just showed you, click on the first text that says forgot password. When you click on it, you hold Alt, your cursor should now appear like as though it's double, and then click on that text and then draw it out to create like a duplicate. So by now we should have something like this. Forgot password on either side. Are we up to speed? Now remember, they are supposed to align to each other. You should see something. Everybody look up briefly. You should have this. You see these lines that appear. It indicates that forgot password, both of them are actually aligned to each other. They are in the same position and the same place, same X and Y axis. So now for this one, double click on this second forgot password, and then you could type in new account. Type in new account, move it such that it aligns with the right hand side. Now the right hand side of new account should align with the email field of the text field of email and the text field of password, all on the right hand side. Remember, for the forgot password, they aligned on the left hand side. So the new account too should align on the right hand side. Like this. Everybody up to speed? So at this point, this is basically a wireframe. This basically tells you what you should expect. This is not the final design. Of course, you would want to include a bit of color. You would want to put an actual logo instead of this dummy logo. The other things you may want to put, you may want to even, instead of leaving the design page blank with white like this, you may want to add a little bit of color to it like that. But this is basically a wireframe. You could now, the thing about wireframe is that you could do it in Figma and you could do it on paper. Paper is just basically like sketch. It doesn't have to be a full perfect looking box. Just sketch on the paper with pencil. I like carrying around my sketch paper when I'm working on a design and just draw. Basically just simulate what it should look like, what the wireframe should look like. So now I'm done with the login screen. Of course, there will be other things you want to put and all that. So click on the artboard like this. Click on the artboard like this. When you click on the artboard like this, if you look on the left panel, everything should be selected. Good. Now you've clicked on the artboard. Now follow this command, Control D. Control D, meaning duplicate selection. It duplicates your artboard. So up here, you can now decide to rename this and say 01. Now the first artboard says 01A login. This second artboard now is going to be 01B login. Now let's make things interesting, shall we? This first one was for login. Just put your email and your password and sign in, right? Right? Good. Is everybody up to speed? Has everybody duplicated like this? Your initial artboard, click on it and then Control D. It should duplicate it to the right hand side. You've done that? Click on your first artboard and if you do Control D, it duplicates it to your right hand side. Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Good. Now, the first artboard was login, basically emails, sign in with your company ID, email or username, password, remember me, sign in, forgot password, new account. Now let's make things interesting. Come to the second artboard. This duplicates you just did 01B login. And now, you see this text that says sign in with your company ID in the second artboard. Double click it and then type in create a new account. Ensure it aligns to the center. And now, if you are really passionate about pursuing a career in design, now in the tech field, there's both the coding aspect and then there's the design aspect. If you're really passionate about pursuing a career in the design aspect, there's something called user flows when designing an app. You see this new account in the first artboard we put here. You see this new account, right? The first artboard. Let's say, for instance, your app is now live. You've deployed it. On clicking new account, on tapping on new account, it should bring us to this screen. It should bring us to this screen where the person create a password, we create a new account. So now, of course, this create a new account. It's not going to be the same thing as though you're signing in. Good. So let's leave this here. Let's leave email and username. Let's leave password. Yeah. Now you get the gist. There will be confirmed password. There will be phone number. There will be name, like that. So let's let me show you so I just clicked it. This is the second artboard. Put your mouse over this white area like this. Tap Control, hold Control, and then click. You should click the artboard like this. Now, let's increase it a bit because obviously it's going to. There'll be more text. There'll be more input fields you would have to deal. Unlike login, it was just email and password. For create a new account, it's going to be email, password, confirm password, your name, your first name, your last name, your phone number, that sort of thing. So expand this just a little bit.
Question.
Yeah.
You know, the first screen you picked was for a particular screen size, which was like for 13 stuff.
Yes.
So if we're expanding the screen now, will it fit exactly that?
Yes, it will fit. Now that's the point of scrolling. That's the point of scrolling. It will still fit your screen size. Let me show you something. Although the people that are watching this video will not be able to enjoy this, but let me quickly show you something. There's in Figma. That's why I love Figma. There's something called prototyping. Figma mirror. While as I'm designing this, you can be seeing it. Let me quickly log back in. I don't know why. By now, everybody should be up to speed. Everybody should have gotten to this point, right? So for those of you who showed up, and those are not currently watching this video and did not show up, there's no way to show you this. But the name of the app is called Figma Mirror, and Don't get distracted. Do not get distracted. All right. Let me log into Figma and enabling. Okay. Currently logging into Figma on my phone. Always allow. Good. Continue. All right, just a minute. All right, good. Now we have this fired up. Let me hold up my phone so that everybody can see it. Now, attention here. This Figma mirror. Hold on, let me quickly, so that my screen does not go off. For those that are watching this video, sorry, there's no way I could have done this and get it before the video. So this is basically Figma mirror, right? Now, while I'm holding this up, I want you to look at something. Where is it? Hold on. You see? What are you seeing down here? It says mirror, right? So on clicking of this, because I'm designing a mobile app, you begin to see what it looks like on an actual phone. This is wireless, without connecting it with USB or anything. Just it should load up shortly.
That same account is the one that
Yes. On your Android device. It could be an Android device, it could be an iPhone device. Now you see. Now now you can see. This is the point of scrolling. Yes, the dimensions are, can everybody see this?
Yes.
The dimensions are longer. When we started initially, hold on. Dominion, please stand up so that I hold this thing up for them, so that you see it. When we started initially, we said, I told you that, okay, this was 375 by 812, right? Now, the second artboard, of course, this is not 812, this is 929. So, when you increase this, if you now scroll, just scroll with it, you can see it moving. So this is giving you like a feel of, okay, this is an actual app that you are using. For the sake of this video, okay, let me open something. Let me open a design I worked on, and so you get what I'm talking about. Okay. Well, this loads up. Just a minute, so that you see the scroll effect. I'm on 53 minutes. I'm talking for the last 53 minutes. Wow. All right. Onboarding. Okay. That's that. Good. Perfect. By now, this screen I just selected should show up on the phone, right? Look at the phone. Look at my phone. You can see it, right? Good. Now this is obviously 375 807. Try scrolling on it. You can see that that scroll field is not there. So now this, just as I said, this was login. There are no too many text fields to work with here. This design was something I was working on for Bayer Crop Science. Now, obviously, you are looking at this in this video right now. 2D login, and it's longer than the rest. Now look at the phone. Try scrolling with it and you will see. Now you can see all others. Now if this gives you using Figma Mirror gives you a view as to, okay, this is what my app would look like. So you are designing it and you are seeing it real time. You get? Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Good. So let's go back here. So now you've brought this out a bit, you've extended it. So we're not necessarily going to delete most of this. Okay, I think the only thing we're going to delete is remember me. Now remember what I told you. Let's say for instance you want to select 2 or more items on your artboard. you draw your mouse over. So let me zoom in a bit. You draw your mouse over sign in, forgot password, and new account, and then you take them down. I wish it was possible for my phone to be up here so that you will be seeing it in real time. Don't worry, of course we'll edit all of this, we'll put something else, so as opposed to forgot password and new account. But bear in mind, this app I just showed you on my phone, the name is called Figma Mirror. It's very good for mobile designs, and then if you are designing on tablets like Samsung Galaxy tabs. So let me bring this down further, just to create space, a little more. So okay, this is 34 in between. So come here, this first one that says email/username, because they are creating a new account. What you should type here is first name. The next thing here is you type in last name. Now remember, just as I told you, if you want to select two things and then you want to duplicate them at once, now I've selected both last name and the text field, this gray box. Hold alternate. I'll say alternate. I'm still saying the same thing. Hold alternate, and your cursor should appear like as though it's double. Click on it. Click on this last name text field, and then draw it out. Now you've duplicated it. Now if you can see the numbers, all of them are equal, 34. It's 34 pixels between the first box, the second box, and the third box. And unconsciously, there's even 34 pixels between create new account and our dummy logo up there. So now for this one, let's call this now. This is where your email would come in. This is where your email address would come in, and then we could do this. Before we even get to password, let me draw this out, and username. So now obviously, looking at this, there won't be space for us to put in something like password and confirm password. So draw your mouse over this button, sign in, forgot password, and new account, basically like this, and then push it further, and then just use your arrow key to take it downwards, just to create space. So when you've done that, come back to username, and select your mouse username, and then hold shift, and then select the gray box too, such that and then hold alternate. Your cursor appears like as though it's double, and ensure everything aligns. That's the beauty about design. If they don't align, there's going to be a problem. It's going to look boring. So now this is where you now put your password. This is where you put password, and then the same thing too. You select password, hold shift, select the gray box, hold alternate, and then draw this out. Hold on. Yeah, 34. So of course this is too small of a space. So hover over this, bring it further. Remember the way I told you to select artboard. Hold Control, hover over a space like this, and then you can elongate this just to create space. Wait, hold on. Now I'm moving the entire artboard. Good. So let's bring this down a bit. So this here, the first one says password. The second one will be confirm password. Now at this point, you obviously cannot leave signing here. You're not signing in, you are signing up. or you could even do create, but sign up is usually the conventional way so that you get this. Now it's okay if sign up for some reason decides to go down, it's totally okay. So basically what you would do is just adjust the text out, and now this is something interesting. Remember when we first grouped, now it used to be sign in, if you recall, then we grouped it, so we have sign in and this frame. So now with this, I don't even need to move this. I could just go up here and then say align horizontal centers. Because we've grouped it, it cannot go beyond this box. It cannot go outside this box, so it automatically just goes to the center of this box. And now if we hover over this rectangle and hold Alt, you can see that it's equal 20. Okay, not entirely equal, maybe they're just 1 pixels. On that side is 29, on this side is 28, up is 14, down is 15. Right? Good. So this is sign up. Now you obviously can't put forgot password here because you are signing up. You are a new user. Is everybody up to speed? I know I'm a little fast. Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Okay, so you also cannot put forgot password here. So basically, well, let me delete this. So basically what you put here is, you could put login. Hold on, let me, oh shit, no, this is good. Yeah, you could actually put already have an account, that sort of thing. So actually, let's even put that already have an account with question mark. No. Now, because already have an account. Here, yeah, you click now. Yes, you get it. Now, on clicking to already have an account, it should bring you back here. It should bring you to this login screen. This part where you just put email and password. Now, if you remember when I started from this first adboard, if you click on new account, it should bring you to this. It should bring you to the sign up, the page with sign up form where you put your first name, username, email, and all that. This thing. So and that's it. And if you're designing a full app, you obviously want to put things like privacy policy. That sort of thing you see when you're signing up. Privacy policy, contact us, contact developer, that sort of thing. But this is supposed to be a 30 minutes tutorial, and now we've entered 1 hour. So, well, basically you get the gist. So that's basically it. This is basically what's a wireframe. Now we've done the wireframe of what the login screen would look like for an app. This is it. Now, and this is just even mobile, and we need to do the web. All right, so for web, this is going to be interesting. All right. So this is going to be interesting. Let's continue. So now we're in desktop. So this is going to take some more work. I don't intend to. So basically, there are certain things I've told you here I will not repeat in the desktop. So by now you should understand about keyboard shortcuts, how to duplicate items, how to bring in, how to use icons and all that. So when I started initially, I told you that we're going to separate this design into two. Page 1 is for mobile view, page 2 will be for desktop view. Good. So right here, let me get this ready. Good. So of course you won't use every portion of desktop view to create a login form. That would be a little bit immature and just weird. So basically, if you're like me, I like to do it on one side, most times on the right. So by now everybody should be at page 2.
No.
No, look, it's all for. Don't worry. Subsequently, we can handle that. It's totally okay. So, desktop. So everybody should be at page 2, right?
Yes.
And you should have desktop. This art board, right?
Yes.
Good. So now, just as I said.
You not see my wife's desktop.
because you didn't create the artboard initially. If you're not seeing this white artboard, just simply hit F and then select the desktop.
Which of the
This 1440 by 1024.
Yes.
40 by 1024. Basically, that's just the 1440 by 1024 is basically just the width and the height. Width times height. So, everybody up to speed? Yes. Good. Now, on the right hand side, that's where I want to create my, I just want to put my login form. So, I'm going to do this like this. So, let's say 550 for the width and 650 for the height. Maybe 700. Maybe 700. All right. No, 1440 times 1024 is width times height. So by now, everybody you should have this rectangle here. This gray color rectangle that says 550 by 700. Everybody up to speed? Good. Now, of course, you would not want this to stay this way, because how would you be able to know what's the text field and what is not, since we're not giving it color yet? So this is what I want you to do. Select this rectangle now, right? Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Is everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Good. Select this rectangle. Now, you select this rectangle. You can see the option of stroke on the right panel. Click on the plus icon. You are pulling us back. Actually, I'm going to upload this video to YouTube. So, by now everybody should have the desktop artboard with this rectangle inside, right?
Yes.
Good. This gray rectangle, select it. Come here. You should see this option called stroke. Click on the plus icon of stroke.
Yes.
Now, can you see this place that has number 1?
Yes.
Let's give this 3. Maybe 5.
That's the border.
Yes. Stroke, border. Now you want to keep, for you, most of you are programmers, so you understand, okay, borders, you all see the same thing, stroke. Now, because we're going to be making use of text field, and our text field is going to be gray color. You see this? Now, can you see this part that says fill?
Yes.
Can you see this minus button?
Yes.
Click it. It takes away the gray, this thing. Now, you may not even want to even do that. Instead of even removing it entirely, can you see this eye icon?
Yes.
You're just basically hiding it. So, instead of even clicking the eye, instead of clicking the minus, because that minus means you are deleting it. Just click on the eye. It basically hides it. Good. Now we are in this rectangle. And now for some reason, now I'm having double feel. I'm having second thoughts. You know what? Delete this rectangle. Create a frame. F. Hit F. Now, a frame. Now, we're not going to select the things you are seeing on the left, on the right panel. Basically, what I want you to do is just draw like this. So remember our dimensions, 550 by 700. It's totally okay. It's a frame. Frames usually don't usually come with fill. They just come with this blue outline showing you that. Now I change it from rectangle to frame. Good. So F. Be up to speed. Yo, be up to this tutorial is supposed to be 30 minutes, and I'm here. Alright, so let's give this a fill. Let's say C4. Hit enter. Now remember the stroke, right? The border, right? Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
5 here. Now remember for the fill, instead of hitting this minus icon, just hit the eye to hide the gray feel of this frame. So then let's zoom in a bit, and yeah, let me expand this a little bit. Let me just say 5. Okay, no, let me just keep it at 550. Good. Everybody up to speed?
Yes.
Good. So now let's go back to page 1. Let's go back to page 1. Let's go back to page 1. Now, remember, there has to be this logo, this text that says that gives the user an instruction to sign in with company ID and all of this, right? So this is mobile view. We intend to replicate the same feel. We intend to replicate the same feel. We intend to replicate the same feel, but on a larger screen, desktop. So go back to page 2, and now we have this. Now you can just even call this login. Let's just hit T to create a text, and you have that cursor up there. So hold on, login. So let me increase this font size to 24. See what it looks like. No, too small. 36. Okay. Then let me just increase this. Let me give it semi-bold. Yeah. Everybody up to speed? Has everybody gotten to this point? You have the artboard, you have the frame.
Anytime I click where to write stuff, it doesn't work.
Is everybody up to speed? Everybody has login right now. Semi-bold. Remember, I told you hit T to put in text. Keyboard shortcut. You should be fast. Hit T. So and then now for your text, if you notice on the left panel, we have the text login under frame. So basically, this login text is under frame. In terms of, remember we talked about grouping. Good. So this login. Now remember the name of the font is Poppins. You could use any font for the sake of this tutorial. Poppins. The font weight is semi-bold. There's light, there's regular, medium, bold, extra bold, italic, like that. So, but for this tutorial, semi-bold. And the font size is 36 pixels. Everybody up to speed?
What's the font style?
Font weight is semi-bold.
No, I mean the font style.
Font style, the font name is Poppins. Poppins, Poppins, Poppins. So everybody up to speed? Can we continue? Can we continue?
What's the size of?
Just look at let's look at what's on the projector. I have my phone. So let's continue. Now we have login text here. So of course, remember from page 1, we have this text that says, this instruction that says sign in with your company ID, and then we have email, username, text field, and then the password text field, remember me, sign in button, and all of this. So basically we're going to recreate all of these points in a desktop view. Everybody understand? Good. Now go back to page 2, and now text. This is where we'll now put in sign in with your company ID. Now, let me give this regular. Let me give this regular and 24. So everybody look up. Everybody look up. So sign in. This text here says sign in with your company ID. The fields for all of this, see the same font name, Poppins. Now, font weight, you will change it from semi-bold to medium. Sorry, to regular. Sorry, not medium, to regular. To regular. And then you will change the font size from 36 to 24. Everybody up to speed? Good. So now for this, let me increase this frame a little bit. So what you should have now, you should have something like this. For your frame now, you should have 850. So now remember this frame when I started, it was 550 by 700. But now I've increased it by a total of 150 pixels. So now it's now 550 by 850. Is everybody up to speed? Yes. Good. Sign in with your company ID. So we have this here. So the next thing you're not thinking of is, remember 24 pixels. Remember now, we've put on page 2 for desktop, we've put login, we've put sign in with your company ID. Now, because you're on desktop, the logo could be somewhere here. So let me just create the logo right here. Sorry, no. And just call it. You could be on your system and you could be accessing this particular digital product. So let me put my text here and logo. So good. It is 1 hour 17 minutes. So it's not supposed to take this long. All right. Now, if you remember now, in page 1, we have, because it's mobile, we're trying to make the most of the mobile view. So we have the logo, the sign in with your company ID, email or username field, password field. But for desktop, because you're viewing it on a larger screen, so there's more space to put plenty of information, right? So we now have our login, our logo at the top left corner of the artboard of your design. So by now, I believe, even if you're watching this video at home, by now you should have it this way. You should have your artboard logo with this gray background at the top left corner, the frame with the login, and then sign in with your company ID on the right. So everybody up to speed? Is everybody up to speed? Yes. Good. Now the next thing we're thinking of is, now already this login here. Login is indicating, telling you that okay, this is a login form. Trying to tell you okay, you're going to log, you're going to get yourself logged in now. So the next thing is, just as we did, we created this field. So what's the size of this? Okay, let me call this 400. Let me call this 400. Let me reduce this to 80. So by now, if you are everybody look at the projector, you should this text field, this gray text field, the dimensions should be, the width should be 400 and the height should be 80.
It's a rectangle, right?
Yes, a rectangle. Rectangle to hit R on your keyboard. You will see shift the rectangle to that cardinal point should appear, and then you just draw it out. When you draw it out, you can now go up there to the parameters field and then put in the right figures.
400.
Look at it's up there. Everybody up to speed? Good. Now, Remember, I just will put it in. Remember, you had it in what do you call the name? Here on the mobile view, page 1. Where we had it on mobile view, page 1. Email, username field, password field. So that's the same thing we want to recreate here. So here, hit T to activate the text function, and then this. So, and then you type it in email / username. So let's zoom in a bit so that everybody at home can see what we are up to. All right. So now at this point you should align. Can we all see this line? This horizontal line. Basically, it means email / username is in line with the text field. It's right in the middle. If you want to even confirm that, you can actually it's in the middle. If you want to confirm that, you can hold. Remember what I taught you? Select the text, hold Alt, and hover over the text field. So it gives you those numbers. So up, you are seeing what? What are you seeing? What are we seeing up? What are we seeing down? Down, not left. Down. 22 up, 22 down, right? What are we seeing on the left hand side? Left hand side, not right. Left hand side, 39. On the right hand side, 160. Good. So now you have it aligned. So remember what I taught you. You selected the text. Now hover over this text field while holding Shift. Hold Shift and then click on the text field. Hold Shift on your keyboard and then click on the text field. That way you are selecting the two of them. Now that you've done that, hold Alt so that your cursor appears like as though it's double. Your cursor appears like as though it's double. Now, basically, I'm just basically going to duplicate this text field. So let's make this 44. Let's do this 44. So now, by now, if you're following my step, if you're following what I'm telling you to do correctly, you should have this, right? Logo, login, sign up your company, sign in your company ID, email, such username, and then this. So let's rename this second one we just duplicated and call it password. So if you not if you notice now, because all of this, everybody look up, login, sign in with your company ID, email, username, password, as well as their text field, they are all under frame. Yes. Under frame 1. So you may notice that if you want to click on password, for instance, you will have to double click. You would have to double click to enter. So, but for the sake of this, let's do this grouping. Yes, just follow my lead. Double click on into password so that you select password like this. Then hold Shift and click on the text field. Then group it. Hold Shift and then select on the group field, and then select on the password. Look, alright. I'm outside. Now, because everything is under frame. Now, that if we were to use rectangle, we would not have this, let's call it an issue. But we're using frame. So frame, you would have to double click to enter into the frame and to be able to adjust elements within the frame. So now, if you see, I'm just doing one click and I'm not entering yet. But until I do double click, and then I've entered, and now I've selected email / username. Now I've selected email / username. Remember what I taught you? Hold Shift on your keyboard and hover over this gray. Right? Is everybody up to speed? Yes. Good. Hover over this gray and select it too. So basically, if you look on the left side, on this left panel, you notice that you've got email, username, and then rectangle 2 are highlighted in blue, indicating that you've selected both the text and that gray background. So what you now do, remember what how I told you to group, control what? Control G, exactly. So basically you now have two groups under frame. Right? Now you see we can easily select. So let's say now we selected frame, but you want to now move password and then this email. This grouping, instead of having to do double clicking, instead of have click once and then click again and all that, just select these two groups and then adjust it a bit. That's just okay. Okay, all right. Then the next thing you want to do is hit on R for the rectangle tool and then create. This is for the button. So let me give this 150 by 40. Okay, no, that's too small. 60. Still too small. Let's say 80. So by now everybody should have this. Now let me put in my text that says sign in. Wait, no, sign in. Good. That says sign in. So in the next 4 minutes I should be done with this tutorial, and this is going to be 1 hour 30 minutes. Wow. All right, I'm actually very hungry. So now you have this rectangle you just created, and then as well as this sign in text. So remember why I told you how to group, because you're working in a frame now. So select your sign in text, hold shift, then hover over this rectangle and then select it. So that way you are selecting the two of them, right? Is everybody up to speed? Yes. Good. Now remember why I told you to group, control G. So now you have your email and username plus the text field. The main text and the text field is grouped. Same thing goes for your password. Now sign in is a button. Now for the sake of this, you know what, I think I want to even change this. For your sign in, I want you to put in this color code. Everybody look up. When you select sign in, under fill, put in the color code FFF. Hold on. Put in the color code FFF. No, just put it in small letter. In low caps. FFF. Hit enter. That's white. That's color white. Now for the sake of this tutorial, now remember this gray background, right? Good, for the button. Let's make it black. So under the fill for this rectangle, ensure you selected rectangle 4. Your own rectangle may be something else, but if you follow my tutorial closely, it should be rectangle 4. So under fill, select this color, select this place. Hold on, let's do this again. Select this and now put in 0. Hold on, put in 000 and then hit enter. Yes. So now now everybody go back to page 1. Let's change something. Now, because if you notice why I'm changing this is because the gray background of the sign in button makes it look like as though it's a text field. It doesn't make it look like a button, right? Good. So now I've selected this. Now everybody should be back at page 1, the login, 01A login, right? Is everybody up to speed? 000. So change it to black. Now go to 01B login. 01B login is the sign up form. So you do the same thing. You change the text to white, FFF, and then you will change this rectangle 4. You will change this rectangle to black, 000. So now you just looking at it, it gives you, this is page 1, it gives you an insight as to, okay, this is a log up, this is sign, this is what my app should look like. Now remember why I changed this button to black was because it was initially gray, just like this, but gray, because of this design, gray signifies text field, black signifies something that is clickable, like a button. Good. Everybody understood?
Yes.
Everybody up to speed? Good. So let's go back to page 2. And we have something like this. And you are done. Yeah? Yeah.
What are the main space?
Now, because this is desktop,
Yes.
for instance, you could have this on this part is what now? The login form, right? Right? Now on this left hand side, just below this logo, you could have something that has to do with pictures that tell you a bit about the company.
Or maybe a slide.
Maybe a slide, maybe you're viewing a Safari, maybe you're viewing the website of a Safari, maybe like the website of a Safari, and then you could just see pictures of lions, antelopes, just like a slide. While the login form is there, it's just to give doing that, putting that slide in that sense of it like a picture, like moving pictures, like or video, and then putting on the left hand side, and then putting this login form on the right, gives the design life. Gives this okay. When you see the design, you're comfortable with the design, you are relaxed, and you're enjoying what you are seeing. Aside from you just being able to log in, is entertaining you in a little way. If it wasn't like in page 1, you may not have, because you are restricted, you are constrained to just the mobile view. You may not have the opportunity to see it in terms of, you have the opportunity to see that video aspect where slides are just coming in and then you can. So basically, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Now, okay. Now, how to save this? Now, because you're working with Figma, it's already saved online. I can come back in 2 weeks. I can close. I can decide to even format my system. But as long as I have access to my Figma account, I can come back in 3 years and I will still see this design here. Now, let's say for instance, you want to export this design. You want to print it, you want to export it like a picture. So like I do that, you open JPG, picture, PNG like that. So what you simply do is this. Click on this. And hold on, and then this. So hold shift and then click. Now we selected both artboards. We selected both artboards. 01A login and 01B login. So by now, is everybody up to speed?
Yes.
You should have selected both of them. So come down here, export. You should see this option that says export. So click on export and then scroll down a bit. So you can see the option of either to export it as PNG, JPG, SVG, and PDF. So for this one, let me just do it as PNG, and then export it as what now? As to the 2 layers. So let's export as 2 layers. Now you see that's popped up. So let me just put this where now. Here's my download folder. Let me put it in my download folder. So right here, I'll just put it in my download folder and then hit save. So it depends, depending on the distance, depending on the design, depending on how complex design you are doing this, it may take a little while to export. Let's say for instance, now everybody attention. Now this, I just did this for this session, just 2 screens. For instance, like this design I worked on and I showed you earlier on, I have at least 6 screens. So this one here is 2 screens, while this design I worked on is 6 screens. So these 6 screens will take a little longer to export because it's going to be making use of plenty resources. They're going to have to export everything together. So let's go back here, wireframe design. So we've exported this. Now let me bring up my download folder and move it into screen so that you see what I'm doing like this. So now you see these two, you see the pages we just exported. Everybody look up.
Yes.
Can you see the two pages we just exported?
Yes.
01A login, and then you just click on it. Just give me a minute, let the picture load up, and then I'll bring it into view. So let me bring this picture into view. There you go. That's basically it. Thank you for coming to my tutorial. You're doing well.